Welcome into Fantasy Football Keys to the Crown, presented by Crown Royal, joined by NFL Network's Marcas Grant. I'm Erin Summers. It is week 11, another heavy bye week. No Tampa Bay, no Seahawks, no Jags, and no Dolphins. Plus, there have been quite a few injuries. Cooper Kupp now going to IR, Zach Ertz, Jerry Jeudy. Marcus, who are some of the players that you're looking at on the waiver wire?
I think it's definitely going to be a heavy wide receiver week. As you mentioned, Cooper Kupp is injured. A lot of good receivers are on bye. Kadarius Toney is definitely an option after he had his first touchdown with the Chiefs this past week, because they have some injured receivers too, so he could see some more opportunity. Christian Watson, the rookie with the Packers, had 3 touchdowns last week and has a really good matchup against the Detroit Lions this week. And also keep an eye out on Paris Campbell, the receiver out of the Indianapolis Colts. Matt Ryan is back, which I don't know how much that helps the Colts in the long run, but for fantasy, we certainly like it because he's able to push the ball downfield. And Paris Campbell is a guy who is widely available in a whole lot of fantasy leagues. If you're looking for a tight end, Cole Kmet's been playing well for the Bears. Greg Dulcich is getting some targets there with the Denver Broncos. So if you lost Zach Ertz or if you're worried about Dallas Goedert, those are a couple of tight end names that could help.
Trade deadline is steadily approaching for those playing fantasy football, the playoffs. What is your strategy as that approaches? How much movement do you make at this point in the season?
I think, the last couple of weeks, hopefully you were scouting out guys that maybe you wanted to try to trade for. I think there are some good running backs that have some upside. I think Jonathan Taylor, a lot of people might be frustrated with him. Maybe not after last week, but over the course of the season because he hasn't produced the way people want him to. But I think he's ready to turn a corner. I think there's upside with a guy like Najee Harris, who I know the Saints saw last week. Again, it hasn't been great, but I think there's opportunity for him to start doing better in the future. I would maybe stay away from a guy like Joe Mixon, who, even though he's in a good offense, the schedule gets tougher, and it could be that Joe Burrow's throwing the ball a little bit more to help Cincinnati win. So this is the time you start looking at fantasy playoff schedules. Who's got an easy one, who's got a hard one, and trying to build your team accordingly.
Coming up this weekend for the Saints, it is the LA Rams here in New Orleans. So hopefully it'll be good to have some home flavor here in the Superdome. Rams mentioned without Cooper Kupp, they did not have their starting quarterback last week, although it looks like Matthew Stafford may be a go this weekend. Who are some of the players that you're looking at starting, sitting, and maybe a sleeper for people looking for a little more bang to their buck this week?
Well, let's start on the downside, because right now I don't know that there are any Rams that you're really interested in starting. The running backs have been a mess. Matt Stafford hasn't played well. Maybe you can still try Tyler Higbee, the tight end, who's getting a lot of targets, but even that is sort of questionable. With Cooper Kupp gone, that whole thing sort of falls apart. So I would sit any of them. I think you start the Saints defense, though, just because of that. The Rams offensive line has been bad. They're giving up a lot of sacks, forcing Stafford into turnovers. So I think the Saints defense has a nice sleeper appeal. And we'll see what happens with the quarterback situation for New Orleans, if it's Andy Dalton or if it's Jameis Winston. But either way, Chris Olave has been so good all year long that I just don't think you get away from him. And, Juwan Johnson kind of becoming a thing. He keeps scoring touchdowns by hook or by crook. So if you need tight end help or you're looking to stream at the position, Juwan Johnson has a nice opportunity.
Marcus, I appreciate you. Great to have you here every week on Fantasy Football Keys to the Crown.